My name is Sumit, and today we are going to discuss about inclusive leadership. So let's get started without any further ado. So let's start with introduction. What is inclusive leadership? Do you guys have any idea? So let's get into the definition of leadership. According to Brooke, inclusive leadership ensures that all team members feel they are treated respectfully and fairly and are valued and at a sense that they belong and are confident and inspired. But why inclusive is becoming more important than anything. Nowadays, many organizations are operating in multinationals and are comprised of diversity such as cross-culture, women, people of color, and LGBTQ. It can be daunting experience for leaders when dealing with diversity as a whole, as each culture and people have their own different values and beliefs. To create a less ambiguous environment, organizations must invite diversity to participate in open decision making. It can act as a motivation to produce more when they are being treated fairly and equally. So let's get into the thesis and the topics which I am going to cover in the later slides. Leaders must learn and practice inclusive leadership traits in an organization because the diversity of multicultural and gender increase productivity. Employees feel motivated and less absent when they are included. So, first topic is diversity does not mean stick without inclusion. Diversity become more important because of globalization and talent scouting. Diversity means not only adding employee to an organization for different culture background, but also unlocking the potential, talent, and skill they possess. Today, diversity and inclusion are often considered as a single thing, but the reality is far away. According to Serban, diversity is being invited to the party. Inclusion is being asked to dance. So both have different meaning. So diversity on its own would not work. For this, the researcher Hacken has conducted an experiment. So researcher was conducted to see how much women and men from Mexican culture are neglected when it comes to their advancement, opportunity, and promotion in America. In a 2016 report, Latinos at Work, they found that 59% of Latino men and women experience slightly and snub in the workplace, a number that jumped to 67% when looking at just Latinas. In the same study, they found that 63% of Latina men and women do not feel welcome and included, do not feel invited to share their ideas, or do not feel confident their ideas are heard and valued at the work. A figure that rises 78% for just Latinas. So, what does it mean to say diversity and inclusion lead to overall productivity? Inclusion of diverse culture and gender leads to productivity in the long term as it brings a sense of competition to an organization. Competition is a borderline of success, as without competition, organization and employee will not able to strive and unlock their hidden potential. In any organization, we see various groups comprised of same culture and values of individual because of simple human psychology. It is very general nature of human brain is to find similarities among others. We like someone who has some common backgrounds, thinking and ideas. In addition to that, during this whole process, we and special leader develops unrealized bias, which become a hurdle in organization productivity because their bias started to include in their decision making if left unchecked. So here is a graph. What happens if we have diverse culture, or what happens we have homogeneous or same culture background employees. So when organization had diverse groups competing against groups that are more similar in the short term, the group that are more similar performance exceed the group that are more diverse because trust takes a longer time to build in diverse group. The people who use same word to mean different meaning in the diverse group. It became easy to read and understand people from the same background as we can relate to them. However, in the long term, productivity with a diverse group exceed the productivity of similar group because employees start building a sense of trust and faith in other. Sometimes accept accept competition from other will also increase in productivity. So the next is influence of culture on productivity. Sometimes culture have another aspect which diversity is culture background, which can influence productivity. In some culture, people value extreme hard work, obedience, and productivity, which can directly influence and motivate other culture to work hard. For example, the Chinese culture is more production oriented culture, and when Chinese people work with their employee, they sometimes motivate and push their employee beyond their limitation and try to help them to work harder. So, therefore, by having diversity and inclusion can directly impact the productivity of everyone in an organization. Never forget, diversity productivity merely increase when they are included by their leader and provide opportunity to showcase their hidden talent. So, the big question arises for the leaders to how to become an inclusive leader. It's a increasing question which leaders have to resolve. So there are some ways to increase the value of inclusive leadership. The major difference between an inclusive and non-inclusive leader is the mentality of towards employee. Inclusive leaders have mentality that every person count, and they always prioritize talent and performance over their biasness. Although some scholars believe that inclusive leaders are hard to learn, but truly it can be learned by following four steps and ways. Talent, not resume. So the first So, the first and the foremost way of leader should look for talent, not resume. Inclusive leader have unique and exceptional way to hire employee, as they do not hire employee according to their credential and background, but they look for creativity, hidden talent, and seek out desire of applicant. For example, a great legendary coach from San Francisco 49ers, Bill Walsh, started an internship program in LFL for minority coaches, allowing participants a fast track into NFL and himself a chance to into a vast source of talent others had ignored. So, inclusive leaders look out for exceptional talent and resilience in their employee, for which sometimes they have to change or lower their standards. So, second is creativity. Explore and unleash creativity. Secondly, inclusive leaders should explore and unleash creativity. The core vision and agenda of any company is to explore and squeeze employee potential, but sometimes it sounds like exploitation and unethical. The major quality of inclusive leader is to foster opportunity and innovation for employee without displaying any exploitation. For example, Alice Waters, a prodigy of a famed restaurateur, is flexible in many ways, and yet she is totally streamlined in her own vision. In her case, she was open to ideas, and at the same time, she does not deviate from his own vision and goals. This entails, unlike conventional leaders, inclusive leaders tend to have an innate approach in which they try to innovate and help others to uplift their potential. So, the third way to be an inclusive leader is culture and background knowledge. Despite exploration for talent and unleash opportunity, leader must possess culture and background knowledge of other culture as it helps them to read in between lines. Many cultures have different connotation and denotation, and there are different ways in each culture which motivate people. By having enough knowledge, not only leader can motivate their employee, but also can understand the expectation of their employee from them. For instance, Barack Obama was an exceptional president of America who had a knowledge of multicultural which helped them to become a thread between both America and African culture. Cultural intelligence helps leaders to adapt according to situation whenever they are dealing with other culture people. So, the next is avoid unrealized bias. It seems very vague, but it is true. Sometimes we have perception to develop unrealized bias. So, what is unrealized bias? Next, inclusive leaders should avoid unrealized bias toward people they cannot relate. It is common nature of human to find similarities and likeness toward others, and we only like those whom we can easily be related. However, a unique trait of inclusive leader is that they do not consider diversity as an disadvantage, but the advantage to an organization. They cherish diversity and are unbiased towards every person because diversity helps them to reach the pinnacle of success. So, the next is the foster competition and collaboration. Leaders should foster competition and collaboration in an organization. With diversity, leader came across with multitude of talent, which make the workplace more highly competitive. Competition always leads to no collaboration and unification in an organization. Therefore, the major role of leader is to encourage and promote competition without compromising collaboration. To clarify more, let's take an example of Motown Records label. The Barry Gordy create a warm, collaborative environment that allowed friendship to form between musical act he signs. But he also sparked healthy competition among the artists to outshine others. By doing this, Gaudi promote collaboration without doing alteration with the competition. Likewise, every organization needs teamwork and unity which tempt them to succeed. In order to do that, employees come to think themselves as a band of brother and sister united against the world. So, what we have concluded from this whole presentation. So let's jump into it. Diversity Diversity is the heart of organization. Promote and if it's promoted rightly can enhance profit in long term. And on the other hand, if things went wrong can lead to dissatisfaction employee and underachieved goals. Nowadays, business is operating in multiple nations, and diversity with is becoming an integral part of company. Diversity is becoming a potent force that can disrupt organizational goal if not taken into consideration. Not only that, having diversity does not always mean that they are included to be part of organization. The leader must have to promote and encourage people of diverse culture to raise their voice and potential. If the business wants to strive and thrive under all circumstances, they should include diversity as it brings hidden talent which can explode in inclusive workplace. Having diverse people in an organization will increase productivity because it will bring competition and culture of other colleagues which can tempt them to work harder. Lastly, it is the general duty of the leader to become inclusive, and leader cannot rely on old and conventional ways of dealing with employees. With changing diversity, leaders need to adapt, strive, and motivate themselves in order to attain organizational goals. So let's give credit to our sources, which are we have choose 6 sources, and these are the sources. So that's it. So thank you for watching my presentation, and if you have any question, feel free to leave in the comments.